Hello, I'm Claire Knollenberg, and this is my legacy project. Just give me a second, let me put this water in the freezer. Alright, we all know that when water is a liquid, the particles are moving around each other freely, and when it becomes a solid, the temperature cools down enough so that the particles are able to bond to each other. At STP, water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. However, it is possible to bring water below its freezing point and still have it be a liquid. Alright, I have this handy graph to show you guys. I don't know if you can see it very well. But right here is when the water starts to cool down to freezing temperature. This is just some changes due to density. And right here is the supercooling effect. Bring it a little closer. Okay. As you can see, it's below 0 degrees Celsius, which is below water's freezing point, but it's still a liquid. But then you see right here, that's the point of nucleation, and then it increases in temperature and freezes. That's when it's a solid. Now, it can be very difficult for water to make this transition between liquid and solid because all the water must reach 0 degrees Celsius and find a nucleation point where a crystal can start forming. In tap water, the impurities actually act as nucleation points where crystals can start forming, which is why you'll probably never be able to recreate the supercooling effect with tap water. So in order to actually do this experiment, you must use bottled water. Filtered water still probably won't work because there's still impurities in it most likely. So in order to make sure there are no nucleation points in the water itself, bottled water is the way to go. Not only that, but you also have to be very careful when taking the water out of the freezer once it's been sitting there for 2 or 3 hours. Because even the slightest of movement, like tapping it on the table like that, can act as a nucleation point and cause the water bottle to freeze. You also don't want to leave the water in the freezer for too long or else the water will freeze on its own accord. So for 2 or 3 hours, just wait for a bit and then carefully take the water bottle out of your freezer just to make sure you don't create a nucleation point. And then when you're ready, you can create your own. I sure am thirsty after all that talking. I think I'm gonna grab my water from the freezer. Oh, I mean, it kind of worked.
Still liquid. You can see this air bubble floating around. And now I'm going to bang it on the counter and we will see if we can get an ice crystal to form. Whoa, look at that! You can see that ice crystal growing right down from the top to the bottom.